So purpose is everything, because if you build a team to deal with a purpose you've designed and not the purpose a customer wants, it's going to be rubbish. It's not going to work. You're going to have an immense amount of failure demand. You have to design your team around what the customers want. Otherwise, it's just painful.
And we found these things. 40% of all of the demand across our retail network is failure demand. The more startling piece about this is the next one. So when we get it wrong, we're more likely to get it wrong again. So the numbers that we got is one-stop capability is 60% for value demand, 25% for failure demand. So not only do we get it wrong once, we get it wrong again, and we get it wrong again, and we get it wrong again. So people are cycling around our system trying to fix failure demand, and we were talking earlier about the wrong thing right there. Well, actually, we're doing the wrong thing wronger. Brilliant.
The second and third claims that we looked at in our sort of study phase were both escape of waters where the ceiling had collapsed. And in the first one, we had a young mother on the phone who was distraught because she wanted us to go around straight away because she didn't know how to turn the water off. She had a baby, the kitchen ceiling was all over the floor, and she was panicking. Okay? Of course, our capability of response was, let's get out within 48 hours, so that was no help. The second one was a bloke who had phoned up at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning because his wife had just phoned him from home to say the kitchen ceiling had collapsed. And he said, I'm really busy, I could do without this. I want you around next Monday at 9 o'clock, but make sure you're all there on time because I can't be doing with this. It's too much hassle. So one person wanted to go around in a week, the other person wanted us to go around now, and our standard service level agreement was to be around in 48 hours.
A tremendous amount of customers choose branch over online. It's being driven by our design. So what we found by studying those customers who said they preferred or they came into the branch, when we asked these questions, 50% of the time was because of the design of the online is too complicated, I can't find, I'm logged off, I can't get in, security, whatever. But 50% of it was simply things like, I don't like computers, branch is more convenient, I don't trust it, you know, those kinds of things. So there is an opportunity to design our things better to allow people to use the online channel, because at the moment they can't, because it's not working very well. Because 11% of that failure demand, the 40, is people who started online and can't use it what we currently do to get what they want. And customer demand, the bottom one there, is not met at first point of contact, but this is usually driven by a design that hand off into a specialist or centralized function to resolve.
So what we saw was lots of stupid decisions being made to comply with rules, okay? And I'll give you an example of that. So one of the things you get in household claims, in the sort of buildings claim world, is some of the claims are simple and some of them are complicated. You know, sometimes lots of damage has been done and sometimes only a bit of damage has been done. And one of the rules we had was that if 2 rooms or less were damaged, it would be an in-house job. If 3 rooms or more were damaged, it would go to a loss adjuster. But loss adjusters were much more expensive for us than doing it ourselves. But sometimes when 4, 5, 6 rooms are damaged, actually the damage isn't that complicated. And our handlers knew that. And they would want to say, well, this is something we can do ourselves. But the rule said, more than 2 rooms are damaged, therefore you have to send it somewhere else. So they would either cheat and hope we didn't notice to do the right thing, or they would knowingly do the wrong thing because that's what the rules said. And if they were caught out doing the wrong thing, my QA team would mark them down and that would affect their performance rating. Okay, so that was just one example. There were lots of examples where we created rules to do for the right reasons, which had entirely the wrong outcomes and cost us money.
So therefore I joined Crawford to try and help them really sort out their problems and create a service culture. I've described the problems with the service, but can you imagine what the SLA, the service level agreement scorecard colour was generally? It was green, yeah, so everything looked on paper very positive.
And targets always made things worse. I've used the example of the fraud target, okay? 27 fraud referrals a month. Did it improve my fraud performance? Yeah, not at all. Actually, it made things worse. It increased my cost. And it became really obvious to me that if you give somebody a target, that becomes their purpose. That's why they come to work.
There are many things that I could talk about coming out of that. I just want to concentrate on one thing, and that is our theories about control. You know, if you think about what Richard said, and you'll see this as a theme through the day, everything that we're doing in our service organisations is really focused upwards. Everything. You know, so, you know, we make statements about how customer-centric we are. We have marketing campaigns saying how much we're going to love you and look after you. But inside these organisations, the story is that everything's focused upwards. That's why we measure activity, and we have SLAs and standard times and targets and budgets, all upwards. And what's happening here is that we're actually getting rid of that idea about control, because when we do the study work, we learn we're not controlling anything. We're sending it out of control.